Do you feel invisible when it comes to Etsy? You put all this time and effort into finding a good product, sometimes researching it yourself, and to yield no results. Well, there is a simple solution. That simple solution, I have no idea if that works. I hope that looks as cool as it did in my head. But the simple solution is to rank higher on Etsy. And I know what you're thinking, but Ty, how do I rank higher on Etsy? And that's exactly what we're going to cover. So let's get straight into it. Hey folks, Ty here. If you're new to the channel, we talk about e-commerce, we talk about Etsy, we talk about dropshipping, we talk about investments, crypto, all that good stuff. So if that's what you're into, hit the like and subscribe to the channel because I post every week. Now, tip number one is to go on Etsy, use the search bar and basically start typing and start looking for your product, or if you've not listed one yet, to find similar products and the product that you want to start selling. Just start typing and you'll see, I'll put an example here, you'll see suggestions that come up. These suggestions are search terms that your target audience, the people who are exactly like you trying to find these items, this is what they're typing in, this is exactly what they're searching, this is why they are recommended search terms. These search terms are the exact phrases and exact keywords that your audience are using to find these kind of products. If you use these key terms and these key phrases in your listing, whether it be description or title, then you're more likely to rank higher for these keywords and therefore appear higher up on the searches. Once you've got these keywords and these key phrases built into your listing, whether it be through tags, attributes, description, title, however you manage to put them into your listing, this will make it more likely for your listing to appear up on the searches, and the whole idea is to drive traffic to your shop. If typing in the search bar is too much work for you, then you can use Etsy keyword databases such as Marmalade, that's one of them. And if you're doing print on demand, Printful, I think it's Printful, they have their own keyword scout. So you can always use a database if typing in the search bar is a bit too much work. Moving on to number two. Tip number two is to have an interesting or trending product. Now, if you're drop shipping on Etsy in the sense that you're sourcing elsewhere and selling on Etsy using a production partner, then the best thing to do is use a product research tool. Dropispy, for example, you can actually find winning products. I'll put a little screenshot here, a little screen grab of me going through the database, and basically it's a Facebook ad spy tool. It's like an ad spy tool basically, and you can see trending ads, trending products, and not all of it's going to be relevant, but this website has a really cool feature where you can filter through e-commerce platform. So you can filter to just find dropshipping items, such as you can filter through WooCommerce, Shopify, and you can even filter through likes and reactions. So you don't want to put the likes bar too high. You want to basically put it somewhere towards this range and then have a good reaction. Sometimes a wow reaction. If something has a dozen or several wow reactions, then that means there's something interesting or unique about the product. And this is a great way to find trending products before they kind of become too saturated, before the whole market knows about them, sort of thing. Like I just said, you can filter with likes, reactions, or comments. So it's a good way to kind of just test the features, test the filters, and basically, yeah, just experiment with it a little bit. And as you can see here, we found some good winning products here. And then once you click on the link, click through it, you can see the ad, you can see how other competitors are approaching that product, are approaching that angle. And if you're selling on a platform such as Etsy, you can twist it, you can make it yours, and you can find a different niche, and you can find a different market. Because those people selling on Shopify and doing their own store, they're not focusing on Etsy, they're not selling on Etsy. So this is a market where you can get in and start dominating. If you're doing print on demand through Etsy, then this platform also is good too, because you can find print on demand designs that are doing really well, that are trending, that you can draw inspiration from. Now, just bear in mind going forward onto Etsy, if you're going to use a tool like this, just because Etsy do have strict rules with what kind of products that you can sell on their platform. So if you are going to go down the dropshipping on Etsy route, then do watch this video here, which basically goes over the rules and what Etsy allows and doesn't allow. So yeah, check that out. Having a good product or a potentially winning product will set you off on the right track on any platform, not just Etsy, but Shopify also. And the most effective way to find a winning product is use a winning product research tool. Now, full disclosure, I have used this platform, I have an account with this platform, and I have been testing a product using it. Now, I won't show you the results of it now because it's going to be featured in a future video, but this is basically your good stepping stone, your good start to get that product, to use the platform, utilize all its resources, and then to get it on Etsy. Again, make sure you do find a production partner. So step 1 is to find a product using the platform, step 2 is to find a production partner, and step 3 is to list it and get sales. If you are interested in using Dropispy, then I'll put a link below. Yeah, so do check that out. I think there's a discount in it as well. So yeah, do check that out. Tip number 3 is to use subcategories. Now, we're going to create a listing. Let's say we're going to create a listing and we're going to be selling a signet ring. The go-to category for a signet ring is jewellery. Now, that's all good, that's all fine, but a lot of things can class as jewellery. It's going to be a very, very, very popular niche. Anything can class as jewellery. You've got other rings, you've got wedding bands, you've got necklaces, bracelets, all that sort. So we need to narrow it down. On Etsy, there's also a category for rings, which is all well and good and all, but like I just said, you can have wedding rings, you can have engagement rings. We need to be able to narrow it down a little bit more. Now, before you even create your listing, just go onto Etsy, go into the niches, and for example, let's follow the signet ring example. You've got jewellery, you've got rings, and they even have a niche, they even have a subcategory for signet rings. So obviously signet rings is going to be the smallest category out of the 3. Out of signet rings, rings and jewellery, it's going to be the smallest category. So is it worth going down the subcategory route? Do I pick the smallest niche or do I pick the biggest niche? So which one do you pick? You pick signet rings, and I'll explain why. So, because the item we're selling is exactly what the customers are searching for, if they go into the signet rings subcategory, they're looking for signet rings. They're not looking for any other jewellery, they are specifically looking for signet rings. We're going to get a higher conversion rate, we're going to get a higher click-through rate putting our signet ring into that subcategory, because that's exactly what the customers are looking for. Once we rate highly on signet rings, we'll start ranking higher on the rings pages and eventually start ranking higher on the jewellery page. If we go straight up and just put it in the jewellery page, we're going to be ranking low because there's going to be low click-through rate and low conversions, because people going on there aren't necessarily looking for signet rings, they're looking for all sorts. We start with the subcategory, we put our item that matches exactly what the customers are thinking. Yes, it might be a low traffic niche, but if it's exactly what the customers are looking for and we're getting higher click-through rates, higher conversions, once we hit that boundary where the Etsy algorithm is like, okay, now we'll start ranking them higher on the rings pages. Okay, they've hit that boundary now. Let's start ranking them higher on the jewellery pages, trending pages, most popular pages, gifts for him, gifts for her pages. That's where the big income comes in. So the point of that last tip, I know I kind of went off on a tangent, is to make sure you're picking the right category on Etsy. Make sure you're going into all of the categories. I'll put a little screen grab here, but you can see all the subcategories that you could potentially have. Just make sure you're getting the right one, you're picking the right one that best fits your product, because this is going to increase your click-through rate. That's the rate of how many customers basically click through your link to your shop, and then your conversion rate, which is basically how well are you converting a potential customer, a shop visitor, to a customer? How well are you converting visitors into customers? Tip number 4 is to watch this video. Now in this video I go through another series of tips. There's a specific one in here where I talk about photos, and there's an example that I use, a video that I use. I'll put a little screen grab here as well, and they look, the way that they set up these product photos look phenomenal. They are just ridiculous. They look like high branded professional photography, when in reality anyone can replicate this in a matter of half an hour. It's just so simple, it's just so genius, and if you start using these kind of photos on your Etsy shop, you'll stand out. Again, you'll increase that click-through rate, you'll increase your traffic to your shop, and hopefully increase your conversion and increase sales. The photo of your product, the photo of your listing, is often the element that decides whether a customer is going to click through to your shop. It is the soul. It doesn't matter what keywords you use, how you've worded the title or description, what your price is, your shipping. They're not going to make it that far if they don't click through your listing. So make sure your picture makes them want to click through. So yeah, do check out that video and just look at the photo section of it. It's just ridiculous. Just check that out. Trust me, you won't regret it. So that's all from me, folks. Thanks ever so much for watching. If you learned something new, if you enjoyed the video, then hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Like I said at the beginning, I post every week. If you've got any questions, hit them down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.